Ladies and gentlemen, the world just got messier with India launching an attack on Pakistan, plus China. Something has happened, and as usual, Donald Trump is making the world nervous again and excited, at the same time. So let's just watch on what's happening. More importantly, there's a big announcement that's going to happen tonight, and what's the implication of all this. So make sure you watch until the end. Let's go. So the title of my talk today is "The World is Getting Messier," and there's chaos everywhere. It's very shocking every day to wake up and see unusual, strange news all coming out. So remember, hit subscribe as I unfold the latest geopolitical and economics news. And today will be one of these days. As usual, these are my usual disclaimers. Not telling you buy or sell. This is not financial advice. And let's go. So today, India strikes Pakistan in the wake of the Kashmir massacre. And according to Pakistan, they have shot down 5 Indian airplanes. So war has started between the two countries, and these are two nuclear superpowers. So how did this happen is because some time ago there was a gunman, terrorist gunman who attacked mainly Hindu tourists in India-controlled Kashmir region. And before they started shooting, they asked the survivors, "Are you a Hindu?" Right? And if they are, no, bum. So 26 people were dead, and of course, India was not happy and blamed Pakistan for supporting the massacre, which Pakistan denies, but nevertheless, the fight has started. So after the bombing, Pakistan decries the act of war and vow retaliation as India launched strikes. So Pakistan Prime Minister has basically slammed India for violation of country sovereignty. So this is not good. Now remember, these two are not just 死对头, they are just kind of like deep-seated hate for each other. More importantly, they do have nuclear power on both sides, and the dislike for them goes as far as during their independence all the way until now, and this is not going to turn out good. So, meanwhile, on another front, China has just announced that they will do some expansionary monetary policy, which in the world of United States we call it QE, quantitative easing. So, China has announced sweeping measures to ease the monetary policy in a bid to shore up trade war hit economy. So clearly, China is hit and hit possibly very badly by all the trade wars and also the property bubble bursting. So China will cut the 7-day reverse purchase rates by 10 basis points from 1.4 from 1.5% to 1.4%, said the People's Bank of China Governor Pan Gongshen in a press briefing. So basically lowering the interest rate. This an equivalent of it would be like the Federal Reserve, Jerome Powell lowering the interest rate. So lower it by 0.1%, 10 basis point. Actually, it's very little, very little. The central bank will also the reserve requirement ratio by 50 basis points. Now, reserve requirement ratio is basically every $100 I take in from depositor, uh, that percentage, let's say, is 5%. I can lend out 95%, I keep 5%. But if I'm allowed to reduce it, then a lot more cash can be borrowed out. So a lot more cash can be lent out. So this is always seen as expansionary monetary policy. So basically doing QE, right? Um, the unfortunate truth is this is what I regard China in now. I said before and I say it again. China is in what we call a liquidity trap. In classical economics, we actually seen this again and again. So liquidity trap has happened again and again and again in modern economic world. The first time it happened was in the Great Depression, where the situation becomes so sian now that nobody wants to borrow money. Even though the central bank lowers the interest rate, nobody will borrow anything. As a result, defeat the purpose. So liquidity trap refers to a situation where interest rate or economy are extremely low level and even being lowered further. And individuals prefer to hold their money in cash or cash equivalent as they are uncertain about the performance of a nation's economy. So this is the case right now. Nobody wants to borrow any money to stimulate the economy. So it is something that we've seen not just in the Great Depression. We also see that in Japan, 30-year recession as well. Liquidity trap are very common. I'm surprised that the Chinese monetary authority, do this kind of expansionary QE despite knowing that no use, right? No use. So for those people who are keen, if you go and look at Wikipedia or equivalent, basically says that liquidity trap is like that. So this is what we call liquidity preference curve. This is a money demand curve. This is money supply. So as you go down and down and down, suddenly become flat. Basically means that even increase the money supply, nobody is going to borrow any more money. The effective interest rate can't be lowered anymore because nobody is borrowing money. So this is quite a common phenomena when the economic impression is just very bad. So what they really need now, time and time and time again, okay, has been proven, you need expansionary fiscal policy. That means the government need to come out and spend money. Cannot just ask the central bank to lower interest rate. Doesn't work anymore. So this is what President D. Roosevelt did during 1930s. He basically, throw money, dig up the roads, fill it up the next day, build bridges, build land, build dams, build this, build that. Just throw money in the economy so that the whole economic engine was to be stimulated. So this is what we call expansionary fiscal policy. But I'm surprised again, right? China didn't do that. But I think largely because they are out of money themselves. So no money. So the easiest thing is to do expansionary monetary policy, which is very cheap, but doesn't work. Doesn't work. So for those people who saw the Chinese stock market being stimulated a little bit today, I think they are going on the wrong feet. Okay. So, meanwhile, in the world of Donald Trump, again, he knows that things are not happening well. He teases that, he has a very big announcement that he's going to make ahead of his Middle East trip. So he called it a very, very big positive announcement. Didn't give any details and so on. So it may come on Thursday, Friday, or Monday, calling it the most important in years. Can he make such announcements? Yes, he can easily make such announcement, right? All he needs to do is say, okay, all tariffs gone whatsoever, right? Can he do that? Yes, it's possible. Then the stock market will go up, right? So Donald Trump is a major announcement and quite very, very big. And he says that it's as big as it can get. I won't tell you what, but it's going to be very positive. So for people who believe in him that he's going to throw out positive, some people is going to chong and and probably buy big time. And for those people who are sick of this, going to just wait and see, right? So I don't know what I'm going to do, but it's very tempting whenever he say things like that to just buy because in some sense, whenever he gives this kind of temptation, people do give in to temptation. Now, what he's going to say, we all don't know, but what he has said before, there are lies. Today he admitted it, and he accidentally admitted it. So Trump accidentally admitted that he has not made any trade deals. So in a conversation that is very tense with a Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney, a lot of reporters are asking him nonstop, and he basically say that the U.S. does not have to sign any trade deals. Stop asking me about trade deals. Everyone says, when are you going to sign trade deals? We don't have to sign any trade deals, right? Basically, he says, I don't have to sign any trade deals. I can limp pay, just happy, do what I want, set one price, everybody have to follow, right? So, he basically says that since the announcement of the 90-day pause until now, nothing has been signed. I told everybody, right? Stop believing that deals can be signed within 19 days. It's very, very difficult. Okay. So Trump has made the outrageous claim that he has struck a whooping 200 trade deals with foreign leaders during his 90-day pause on his reciprocal tariff. But when pressed, he refused to say which country has been made. So that was then. Now today he said none has been signed. So none has been signed. So he's now just He's just hot air. Yeah, he's just a president of hot air. But you know what? That basically shows that we cannot trust anything he says, right? If you trust something he says, you might get burned or you might get it becomes a gamble, right? I don't like gambling in investment. So in this kind of environment, I just step one side and just watch. Okay, I think that's a lot safer. So meanwhile, tonight we're going to have the Federal Reserve coming out to announce the interest rate policy. I think about 100% of the financial world believes that he will hold interest rates steady because there's inflationary risk and the economy is doing well. There's no need to cut interest rate. So at this juncture, nobody is believing he will cut interest rate right now. So most likely he will keep the federal benchmark borrowing rate between 4.25 and 4.5%. And they will just adopt a wait and see approach. So what's the key takeaway from all this chaos, right? Number one is I think the war between India and Pakistan unlikely to have massive global impact in the financial market unless there's massive movement of troops or nuke being used on both sides. I think right now it's just I slap you, slap me, that kind of thing, right? China is in a clear pursuit of expansionary monetary policy that's going to turn out to be useless. The amount is too little and too late. So I think it's very useless. So for those people who are gung ho in China, I wouldn't adopt this as a big deal. Trump is teasing about a big announcement. Let's watch and see. For those people who want to gamble on that, go ahead. But that's just plain gambling. I think trade deals, are expected. The trade deals are expected to be difficult, and they turn out to be difficult. So I wouldn't be too optimistic about all these trade deals. So I wouldn't be too hopeful. Maybe you can sign one deal, two deals, by a certain date, to with the rest of the world. But I think with the majority trade partners, I think it's very tough. Okay, I think it's very tough. So watch his space very closely and carefully. I'm gonna watch over this thing for on your behalf. And if once I detect that there is a 风吹草动, right, when the movement of the grass as the wind blows, I'm gonna quickly announce it. So hit subscribe so that you not waste your time, following this news, right? Okay, thank you so much. Okay, thank you so much. Let's watch and see what happens in this space, and I'll see you in a day or two. Bye bye. We are now in one of the most famous pork ribs restaurant, and this is just 2-person share. Okay, it's about $36 Singapore dollars for 2-person, and it looks really delicious. I'm gonna try. Okay, whoa, wow, it's flaky. Okay, I'm gonna try. This one must use hands. But just for, okay, let me try. It's soft, it's juicy, it's spicy, but it's really, really very good. Okay, we're in Korea right now, in Myeongdong area. Wow, this one is Pakong, man. Wow. Need to try. Alright, it's B's turn.
I'm just going to use my hand because my chopstick skill is not very good. Wow, it's hot.
It's flaky, It kind of like, yeah, you get.
Wow. Look, it's very, very soft. Wow, I can't wait to taste it.
Pork ribs. Super, right? So, ABC.
很好吃，sedap.
Great.
Grade A.
A. Wow.
A.
Yummy, right?
Yummy. Super. Must try.
Wow.